high key, people. High key. This episode of Boruto, episode 203. This is yet again the things that the Boruto manga readers have been screaming for quite some time now. At the very least, with this episode, the contents from 2 years ago in the manga, we've been screaming, we've been saying like, yo, y'all not ready for this. Y'all not ready for this, people, because it is going down. Jigen is here. Naruto, Sasuke, oh my god, Kawaki, the karma advancing. We've got a lot to talk about with this episode. Konohamaru getting his ass kicked as per usual, fam. That's how it's supposed to be, I guess, right? According to the Boruto lore, because this episode, man, it just keeps getting better and better and better, and I love to see it. Hands down, absolutely love to see it. I'm not gonna waste any of your time. We gotta talk about this. Without further ado, let's get into this Boruto. Yeah, people, greatness. This is an exciting one. This is, yeah, let's do it.
No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done.
Okay, people, so this episode picks up from where the last one left off, of course, when Sasuke seen Jigen show up and everything with the Ten Tails, everything we talked about in the last week's episode. It was, you know, taking from there, but then it jumped straight into some of the more subtle things and some of the more metaphoric things, because Kawaki is still continuing trying to put that vase together. He has nearly every piece except a small, tiny little fracture, little piece of the vase is still missing. He's still looking for this tiny piece of a shard, and you can clearly see that it's metaphoric. It's still metaphoric that Kawaki still, there's a tiny piece with everything that he's gone through these last few, you know, months. We've seen these episodes of him being at, you know, the Uzumaki household, having what feels like siblings, having what feels like a real family, a father, a mother, all of that jazz. He still feels like he's missing something. It's very small, it's a shard, but I feel like the vase has been always metaphoric of Kawaki and how he feels like he is still incomplete. What that may be at this point, I'm not really sure. Obviously, we know that he's been through a lot. He's a traumatized kid at the end of the day, being abused by some weirdo in a freaking dungeon and shit like that. So we can tell he's been through some stuff, but that definitely felt like it was metaphoric. And it was also leading into a lot of things that really interesting, because then Naruto basically tells him like, yo fam, you good enough? Yo, you put it almost all together. And Kawaki, you know, reprimands him like, yo, what good is a vase that is missing a piece? And Naruto tells him, oh, I got another strict son here. And this was right here what was very important, because then Kawaki looks at him and says, but I'm not your son. I'm not your son. So that was something that was interesting, considering the fact that like Naruto has treated him just like a son. In fact, probably Naruto would have felt great to hear this kid say, yo dad, because, you know, he's treated him and he feels like that's his son to a certain degree. So that was definitely something to note, because at the end of the day, we know that he has a very turbulent relationship with Jigen, you know, Kawaki. So for him to actually come at Naruto like that, I mean, I guess that kind of coincides with what I was saying. There's still something missing for Kawaki. At the end of the day, we didn't really get to see him dive too much into how he felt about his father after leaving, so there's that. And the anime added in quite a few different interesting bits to this episode, for starters, because I felt like in the manga, and a lot of people had this conversation, that Sarada was really mean to Kawaki in the manga. She almost came across as like jealous that, you know, he has all this attention with the Hokage and things like that. So the fact that in the episode, not only when Sarada's going to get flowers for Sakura because she's still a grown-ass woman simping for her husband, love to see it. Yo, Sasuke be slinging that, you know what I'm saying, be slinging that knee that got Sakura all sprung. On top of that, like, just seeing Sarada that she's actually buying flowers for Kawaki, not only does it build into the relationship that they have, but also just in general, it's a nice little addition that the anime added. Like, I can't even believe how much the anime has done a 180 and how much it's done great things of using its anime only privilege to actually increase things and make things better. Like, this is just really awesome that it's building a relationship that kind of felt a little bit unrealistic, or just in general, Sarada came across as kind of a bit of an asshole. In the manga, in the anime, she's getting him flowers. And then another anime only moment that they added in that I thought was pretty unique was the fact that they added all the Leaf Ganin there speaking about Kawaki. And come on, fam, Studio Pierrot knows, like, they've been playing with us from the beginning, because I always said that there was theories about Iwabe and whether or not he could have been Kawaki from early on. People said like, yo, why are they hiding the hair and things like that. I felt like that was Studio Pierrot because they knew Kawaki wouldn't be added into the anime for a very long time. They did that on purpose because then even in this episode, they had Iwabe talking about Kawaki and talking shit about him and whatnot. And it's like, yo, fam, you pretty much look like you were kind of a early idea of Kawaki and what he potentially could have been like, and a substitute until he actually arrived. Like, knock it off, fam. Like, them adding Iwabe and Denki, though, was a nice touch because, you know, they don't exist in the manga. They anime only. So at the very least, the anime isn't treating them completely like filler characters. Like, imagine now that Kawaki was here, anytime they talking about Kawaki, they just don't have Denki and Iwabe in scenes. They just like, yeah, they don't exist when that conversation comes up. So that would have been a little bit strange. So the fact that Pierrot added in these anime only scenes was a nice touch. And again, I just gotta commend them for it. And Kashin Koji is still observing everything. He's been observing for quite some time because he even says that it's been a while since, you know, the whole Delta situation happened. He wonders what's going on with Jigen. Why hasn't he made his move or sent anybody over from the organization yet, considering, you know, it's been a while. So I wonder how long has passed. Like, how long has Kawaki been in the village? It has to be, I'm guessing, a few weeks to a few months max since they've been there. But also, goddamn Kashin Koji, you ain't got no goddamn life. You've been stalking this kid all these months. I mean, I guess it's, you know, a reconnaissance mission, but shit, yo, go take a bath or something. Oh shit. And the main character, Boruto, his karma starts acting up as he's there because, you know, the last couple episodes they've been setting up that he's been with Mitsuki training and things like that. Well, his karma starts acting up and he knows, okay, the only time that really happens is usually like if I'm stressed out like really badly or something's going on with Kawaki, let me go back and see what's going on because this is not a good sign. Which, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the series is called Boruto, which to a certain degree I feel like when you get episodes like this where it's like, holy shit, the episode feels way grander than just Boruto himself. It should have probably just been called Naruto Next Generation to a certain degree when you get stuff like this. Like, I know a lot of people are probably going to take that the wrong way, but I just feel like this episode is so much grander than just Boruto, and it's like they gotta implement somehow, some way him into things of like, yo, you know, he has the karma mark too, whatever. But like, considering we got so many things going on, we got Kawaki, we got Kashin Koji, we got Naruto, we got a lot of things solid and stuff like that. And it's kind of funny that Konohamaru is keeping guard. How much of a bodyguard he'll be, we shall see here in a second, because following that, Kawaki's karma starts acting up, and lo and behold, Jigen actually pops through his hand into the Uzumaki household. And this episode, while granted, and we'll probably talk a little bit more about, the animation was not all that at all. It was like, you know, standard, average, sometimes a little wonky, and like, what the hell are you doing? The art at times, like when Jigen is coming through the portal from the karma and shit like that, looked really, really nice. So shout outs to the art from time to time. The animation, though, again, it was like, And right here just showcases that what was set up kind of last episode with Boro finding, which a lot of people said it looked like it was toads or something like that, in the cockpit of the blimp that crashed and whatnot, that had the vessel Kawaki in it initially, with Jigen showing up in person, seemingly being able to do it the entire time. Koji realizes, oh shit, there was never no reason for us to come and retrieve the vessel. He was just kind of trying to sniff out who's the traitor, because if he could have come through this entire time, what was, you know what I'm saying? So basically, Koji is getting found out seemingly to be the traitor, and that's why Jigen probably came himself, which very, very interesting. Has honestly made it that the Kara group in and of itself has had their own issues to begin with, because there's been, you know, mistrust throughout all these episodes and things like that. Like, and again, I feel like Studio Pierrot has really emphasized these issues themselves. Like, just shout outs to Pierrot. Like, this is the third time now throughout this video alone that I'm praising their anime only editions, which I don't want to say that was completely anime only editions in this episode. What I'm saying is throughout all these episodes, them constantly showcasing, you know, the different aspects of Kara, them, you know, and kind of slice of life moments to a certain degree of them just powwowing around in their base and things like that. It's those elements that kind of added into this overall grand feel. And yo, ain't Jigen an interesting individual for the fact that he shows up in Naruto's living room and he apologizes to Naruto. He's like, I'm in your living room with my shoes, ain't it? Because, like, you know, in Japan, that's a, you know, very bad thing to do. Like, that's disrespect. Shoes in your living room. So the way he even comes across, he's like very elegant. And I remember in the manga, like the first time we see Jigen, if I'm not mistaken, he's like sipping wine with his breakfast and shit like that. Like, he's a classy guy, which I wish they would have added more to it, because it's kind of just coming out like, hey, there's no reason for him to be classy because of who he really is. But but alright, he's a classy monk. That's not really a classy monk. And fam, talk about taking L's. Talk about the L of the century when Naruto tries to charge him immediately like, what are you doing in my living room? And gets kicked out of his own damn house within an instant. And granted, because the episode started off, we didn't talk about this, that Kurama was tired because, he was watching Kawaki all night while Naruto was sleeping. So essentially, Naruto was doing that on his own right there. He didn't have any backup at that moment from Kurama. Of course, later he goes into his QB mode, but at the very first time where he gets kicked by Jigen, there's no QB chakra, and he gets kicked out of his own house and even rotted down for a second. And I'm like, god damn, very reminiscent of Pain too. Like, anytime I see somebody getting rotted down, pinned down with rods and shit like that, I just automatically think of Pain. Like, and fam, I can't remember if this was anime only or not, if this was actually the manga. I want to say this was an anime only edition. Konohamaru, the bodyguard, tries his hand at doing something to Jigen, tries the Rasengan and everything, and ends up rotted down, pinned down with the rods as well. And I was like, well, at least they gave him something to do. Again, I don't remember him doing anything in the manga or even being present when all this went down. But damn, R.I.P. Konohamaru being, a competent, useful character. He tried or some shit. I don't know. Like, what has happened to Konohamaru, Boruto? You have totally decimated and embarrassed him. Like, hey, if Naruto wasn't going to do nothing against Jigen, of course Konohamaru wasn't going to, but this in unison in combination with everything else we've seen throughout Boruto thus far of Konohamaru taking L after L is what makes me feel like, just get this bum out of here. Put this bum in the shower alongside Kashin Koji, because apparently, I don't know. Oh shit, I'm having too much fun right now. And then it kind of coincides back to something that we was discussing earlier. The fact that Naruto initially had told Kawaki, like, you refer to him as his son. Kawaki said, I'm not your son. And then Jigen likewise again says, oh, I just came to get my son, and he refers to Kawaki as his son yet again. So you could definitely tell that maybe that's what it is that Kawaki's missing. Now that I think about it, if that's something that the anime is emphasizing twice already in this episode, something very important like that of Naruto initially saying, like, referring to him as his son, he says no, and then Jigen doing the same thing. And of course, Jigen ain't shit to him. He hates Jigen. So maybe that's what he feels like he's missing, like his actual real father. Again, he hated his father for what he did, and his father was a piece of shit, but maybe because he knows that neither one of them are his real father, it kind of felt like a missing piece. But then there was also that moment, very, very special moment in the episode where Naruto actually, says like, no, you're family too. That might have been what it is. Maybe it's just that he's fractured because of, and he's missing a piece because he feels emotionally destroyed by everything, and it'll take time to heal. This isn't exactly like a vase, like, you're a human being with emotion. And fam, when he threw that punch, which of course Jigen, he just showed he's a beast, that's not gonna happen, but Kawaki threw a punch at Jigen and said, don't you dare disrespect the Hokage. And you see that he's starting to Otsutsuki-fy, like a horn grew out of his head while he said that. And even Jigen's surprised, like, I didn't know you were this far ahead, showcasing that, yeah, things is happening, weird things is happening with the karma. The karma ain't, just a little tattoo on the hand, because now he's starting to look like an Otsutsuki. So that was very, very interesting. Also showcasing, again, quite a bit of time has probably passed since he's been at the Uzumaki residence. And then Naruto, after Kurama says, yo, you're pathetic, which, wow, Kurama really talking that shit. He called him pathetic. Naruto breaks off the rods, tries to charge at Jigen again, and Jigen ain't having it. He looks like Super Buu for a moment where he's charging a big chakra blast that he's about to throw down, and Kawaki's like, yo, and this is, again, showcasing that bond that they built that I feel the anime did an even better job than the manga of showcasing. Kawaki's like, yo, I'd rather be his prisoner than lose you. I'm gonna go with him. Like, we could stop this right now. Just promise you leave the Hokage alone and I'll go with you. And again, Jigen felt really reasonable. He was like, that's all I'm asking. Like, I just want my prisoner back. Like, okay, maybe not reasonable, but yeah, I mean, at least he was like, okay, I'll go along since I'm getting what I want. I'm not going to just kill everything for no reason. But then right there, I felt that was a very pivotal moment for Kawaki when Naruto responded with, no, but like, the village, not even just the village, like my family, like you're my family too. And that was something that you could tell Kawaki, like when he said, Nandaime Hokage, like you could tell that he wants that. That's what he wants. He wants to feel wanted. He wants to feel loved. And that was a very touching moment. And Jigen pulls Naruto into another dimension, and he readies to leave him dropped off in there, which it's interesting that he describes this other dimension as it's almost like the same playing field as where we're at right now, but this is a dimension where Konoha doesn't exist. So he was going to drop him there, and then Sasuke with the badassery comes with a drop kick to Jigen, and he's like, yo, loser, you got caught lacking, fam, you got caught lacking. And Jigen says, perfect, I can get rid of both of you at the same time, and we ready up. And if you've seen the preview, oh my god, Naruto and Sasuke versus Jigen, let's freaking go. Overall, this episode, fantastic setup episode with a lot of decent action, a lot of this was a great freaking episode. Absolutely, the animation wasn't perfect or, superb or anything like that, so we can get that squared out the way. The animation wasn't great, but the art at times looked awesome, and in general, the content and the story, which, hey, that's kind of why you watch it for the most part. Of course, animation is a big deal, but it's not the most important deal. The story, the build-up, the setup, the advancement, everything about it, I absolutely loved it. And yeah, we're here, Naruto and Sasuke versus Jigen, which I shouldn't be this hype, especially considering it's supposed to be Boruto. I should be more hype about Boruto in the next gen, but I don't care. I gotta say it. This is one of the most hype moments thus far. Naruto and Sasuke about to throw down again, and that preview looking more and more is spicy. But I'm curious what you guys think. How did you feel about this episode? How did you feel about Naruto versus Jigen? How did you feel about Kawaki and his role and everything? And my god, just your overall thoughts and expectations for Boruto episode 204 next week, which ironically or coincidentally, shall I say, we're getting that episode and the next chapter at the same day. I'm declaring next Sunday National Boruto Day. Let's go. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links of course in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life, boy. Have an awesome day. Peace in, and fam, Boruto yet again on fire. Really sucks how much of an L Naruto took this episode, but now we got a bigger setup for Naruto and Sasuke. Let's freaking go. Ah!